Alright, welcome back. So today I am grabbing some RC cars to hit the skate park. Just gonna look a few things over. My Xmaxx was making a bunch of noise on hard acceleration, like a diff or something was going bad. Remember, we had just fixed, I think, the front bulkhead on this thing, and I just want to make sure that everything is okay. We did bash it hard, so I'm trying to check pinion and everything just to make sure nothing was coming loose. And I'm not seeing anything like dramatic. To where a diff is loose. Yeah, see, everything seems okay. Maybe I have a bent drive shaft. So I'm gonna pop that open and just take a quick look. But it was apparent, the noise anyway. I've seriously abused this standard Xmaxx, but I replaced it on purpose with a brand new one because I sold my other two in good working order, but the plastics on it were years and years and years old. And I must say, I think the plastics, even though I think Traxxas and a lot of the manufacturers like Arrma and Traxxas have changed their compound to their arms and some of their plastics to be a little bit more flexible, as I've shown in past. When the Creighton 8S was first dropped, the arms were like glass, and then Arrma had made a change, and they really started to hold up. Gotta pop it loose. There we go. Oh yeah. So that was the noise. First time I bent a center drive shaft. And then here's the attitude adjuster. So you can clearly see that's the high spot. The center drive shaft was bent, and that was all my noise. Probably a lot of chassis flex. You can see where it pretty much flattened this thing. But that should stop the noise for now. And this thing's good to bash. I'm really shocked that I bent that, but not surprised. Just trying to show that the Xmaxx, being the most durable RC out there on the market, in my opinion, there's just no large-scale RC that can put up to this kind of abuse like an Xmaxx, and that's what makes the Xmaxx, in my opinion, still the king. And when you're learning tricks or learning front flips or back flips or any of that stuff, to take that Outcast, which is another RC I love and I think is a really good RC car, to take that and learn tricks on is really going to cost you a ton of money. Now the Xmaxx is more expensive, the initial purchase, but in the long run you will save money buying an Xmaxx. Like I said before, I think everybody should have an Xmaxx in their fleet. It is harder to drive than most RCs, but that just ups your skill level when learning how to drive one. It's not like any other RC on the market. Like I said, I've left this stock, other than adding a light kit and then the optional gearing I did install. Remember, I put a 44 tooth spur in this now, a steel spur from Traxxas, and I'm still using Traxxas pinions, so I haven't changed that stuff at all. I mean, I've changed it, but I'm using factory components. I did have, it wasn't on this Xmaxx, I think it was on my Ultimate, I did have the pinion slip. The XRT has that little bearing on the cover to help support the pinion. Now the newer ones come with a C-clip on the motor to stop them from slipping completely off. There we go. Something Arrma's been doing for years to help, even if your grub screw comes loose, because when these motors get hot, the Loctite tends to melt off, and then the grub screw still tends to back off, just because that shaft is getting a lot of temperature to it. But I'm glad it was just a drive shaft, because the rear of this body is just done. Too many tail landings, and I've killed this body, honestly. But that's the whole fun of an Xmaxx. My Outcast, and it's got a new chassis on it, so I want to kind of protect that chassis. So I'm going to tape up my Xmaxx body, and then I'm going to tape this chassis a little bit. You can see where I was telling you the front shocks have to tighten up a little bit, because when I was jumping out of the park, it was slapping the chassis. So my homemade chassis protector for now. It will be hard to get the chassis protector off once you, or the duct tape, the Gorilla Tape. It will be hard to get off once it's all scored up, but it should protect the chassis some. Remember, I did change out the tires on this one too. I think these springs have lost some of their tension. The backs are already cranked up about where I'm setting the front now. Just putting the tire under it. There we go. See, that feels good. Now it won't bottom out so easy, but we're gonna roll with it. We have enough RC cars for today to get through a couple hours of running. So I'm gonna tape up the rear of this. So I want to give it a little wipe down with some glass cleaner. Has ammonia in it, which will help the tape to stick, the Gorilla Tape. All right, good enough. Good enough to get me through the day. All right, I'm gonna get some batteries put in this thing, and we're gonna get out and rip these two RC cars. So you don't need to watch me put in some batteries, but I'm gonna go ahead and take out my Xmaxx and take out the 8S Outcast. I think I'm gonna leave the 4S Outcast here. Just take two RCs for now, and let's get out and have some fun. All right, so we are up here at the BMX track, or mountain bike track, or pump track, or whatever track you want to call it. We're going to power up these RCs, and I'm going to just walk both of these up to the top. Oh, where did my switch go? Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is why you should power up before you take it out. No worries, Traxxas controller. We will work on binding this thing now. Grab the wrong controller. So this one you gotta hit set, hold set, power it up. It will flash. This one you gotta hold the button down wherever it's at. Power it up. We'll put our plug back in. This one I just ran, so hopefully we don't have binding issues with this one, because this RC is a lot harder, and these do have binding issues every now and then. Sounds like it's binding up. Uh-oh, beep. Nice thing is I'll cut most of this out so you guys don't have to see me putting straps and everything together. The Xmaxx is so much easier. I can drive this one-handed. I don't think you guys understand how happy I am to have both these RCs up and running. Two of my favorites. I'm not going to power that off. Still sounds a little funny. Already crashing. I can still hear the noise under hard acceleration. Well, that sucks. Than a Traxxas product. Yeah, I know the gear noise is a little loud. I tightened the rear cover for the idler to the cush drive, so I'll probably have to shim it again. Watching Thunder RC annihilate his Xmaxx with the GPM stuff on it. Like I said, the Xmaxx, like he said in his videos, one of the best, most durable RCs you can own is an Xmaxx. And now this is going to be interesting. Total different feel. Arrma versus Traxxas. That didn't even, that was supposed to jump straight. Look at them hard landings compared to the Xmaxx. Oh, nose landing. You can't, I mean, you can treat the Outcast like an Xmaxx. Oh, that's such a hard landing on that chassis. Such a hard landing. Look at that. Look at what it did to the tape right on that chassis. That's a rock landing. This is why I taped up the chassis. Wow, that's an impact right there. Just got to be a little cautious. What is going on? drifting left. Plenty of power. Plenty of air control. Just these landings are so harsh compared to the Xmaxx. Finally got one to go straight. Yeah, I don't know. I need to rework these front shocks. The landings are just so harsh with the Outcast. It's a total capable truck, don't get me wrong. Way different feel than the Xmaxx. I feel I have more control over my Xmaxx right now, but not to be surprised. Considering I run the Xmaxx more than I've run the Outcast in the last couple of years. Just a smoother power delivery. Definitely doesn't have near the power my Outcast has with the stock ESC and the stock motor, stock electronics versus upgraded electronics. And these lower profile tires, I just feel like I have way more ground clearance with the Xmaxx. So the landings, the factory belted tires or even the factory Xmaxx tires offer a lot more cushion than these tires I have on here right now. You could tell just by the landings how much lighter the Xmaxx is. You don't get them hard chassis slaps like I'm getting on the Outcast right now. And with these big rocks that are out here right now, I just have more control over the Xmaxx at this current track. Oh, I tried to accelerate through it. It landed, it hopped, and then I hit the trigger and it rolled. It wanted to wheelie. Since I have no wheelie bar on it. I am so glad to have my Xmaxx back. So the Lewis RC low profile wheels on the Xmaxx a different sound. Oh, it just sounds so rough. If you can get over the sound, you gotta pretty much land these. Oh, that was a hard concrete slap. Yeah, see? Just clack, clack. I don't know if my microphone's picking this up, but it is hurting my soul. Every time this thing lands. Oh, see, the rocks are just kicking this chassis everywhere. All these little rocks where the Xmaxx is clearing them, this chassis is not clearing them. And oh, see, it just kicked up the rear. See, I'm not doing anything different with this RC. It's just so much heavier when it hits these rocks. I need a smoother track for the Outcast. It's just all these little pebbles everywhere. Are gouging this chassis, where the Xmaxx with the high center of gravity doesn't have these problems. Oh, see, kicked up the rear. Oh, right on that wing. It's just the rocks are making this out of control. You can see all these little rocks that are on this BMX. Look at that rock. From the rain we've had, all these rocks have been uncovered at the track. So even though this is a groomed track, I mean, we're California. Got to have way more trigger control with this RC. Xmaxx, I could just point and shoot. I could see the tape already hanging down on this chassis. The whole bottom of this chassis with that tape, you could tell it's taking a beating with these little pebbles everywhere. It's the problem with the metal chassis. But what a ripper. This is definitely a ripper. I have way more power into this RC. But it needs the power. That's why I say I set this up for like a ground and pound. With some tricks. this one cool down a little bit. Grab the Xmaxx. Oh. See, I just send this one. See, the back doesn't kick up. Going over them rocks. Once you get the, I guess it's whatever you're comfortable with. For me, this area right here just works really good for an Xmaxx. Skipping off the top of that jump. Oh, hit a rock. Hit a rock. And the batteries in my Xmaxx are definitely a lot smaller than the ones that are in the Outcast. I don't know. I haven't driven the Outcast in so long. See these big rocks that you run into coming through here? This little channel. The Xmaxx eats it up. Where the Outcast is gouging the chassis. Interesting. Very interesting. I don't think I've ever ran these two like this before. I might have. But I'm telling you right now that for me, the Outcast doesn't feel as good as my Xmaxx, which I didn't think that was going to be the case. I just remember this RC doing some horrific jumps. It handles the berms better than the Xmaxx, the cement berms. Hard chassis slap. Honestly, you can't go wrong with either. so harsh. There we go, a lot smoother. Just don't need to jump as far. God, all the tape underneath is just hanging off. Now you guys know why I taped the bottom of this chassis. Trying to save the gouges. There we go. Just don't send it. Just, you can see how smoother it is. Oh, I thought I was going to land on the downslope, so I let off the trigger. But even that crash, listen how smooth this thing is landing. See? The body's not shaking, you don't hear clack, 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 hitting rocks and all that stuff. That's that high center of gravity chassis. See? Huh. Interesting. Well, this isn't going how I planned. I had to hit the brakes. I rotated way too fast, but that was kind of smooth. Just can't, this one wants to launch. You just can't let it launch, because those hard chassis slaps are going to kill it. Fans all still sound like they're not broken yet. Uh-oh. Too little throttle. Going from that RC to this one has way less power. See, I ran out of power right there. Well, I ran out of tire ballooning. Just got to hit it with more commitment. But it definitely lands way better than the Outcast. See, that's just a better landing. Now the Outcast handles that berm way better. This one feels like it wants to tip over, but that's where the wide kit comes into play. And the Outcast is so much wider than the Xmaxx. This one just wants to, I could double this one no problem. Just the chassis slap is going to be horrific. For this one, I have to, in my rotation, I have to use some brake. The Xmaxx, I could just stay on the trigger. I don't know why that thing wanted to go cattywampus, but just decided to tap the trigger. See, that was without using any brake. I don't know. I feel like I'm more in control of the Xmaxx. And the Arrmas usually handle way better. God, it's just a horrible sound. Could be the body rattle that's just making it seem. See, now this one, I love ripping up and down this. I love the speed. The drifting, the speed. The handling like this is perfect. But just to go full trigger and hit whatever jump, that's more of an Xmaxx thing. Xmaxx takes more control once it's in the air. The Outcast takes more control getting to the jump. That's what I'm really trying to say. Just an animal. Like the Xmaxx, oh, the wind. The Xmaxx makes you work for it in the air. But when it comes to just ripping across the ground, you don't really have to worry about it because the Xmaxx is going to soak up, the suspension and the chassis is just going to soak up the jump. So I can hit these jumps like that, not worry about where I'm gonna land. I just hit things. Yeah, Xmaxx I feel like I have more control over, which is an RC control. Maybe it's the Lewis RC tires. I have said, because they don't balloon as much, they have the anti-ballooning technology in them. It gave the Xmaxx a lot more control. Oh, crash. Oh, hit low voltage cut on me and I didn't have enough power to power through it. But there we go. The Xmaxx and the Outcast out together. I'm honestly so stoked to have them both up and running again. I love both of the, yeah, there's no power left. This one, I have smaller, these are 5,200 mah, where the other one are 6,800. Drive shaft is sounding good again after hammering it straight on the Xmaxx. Okay, let me reset this power thing. I just won't hit full trigger anymore. Solid red. Yeah, my power's back. So we're gonna head back to the car. Just wanted to get out and rip a little bit. Nice Tuesday afternoon. I have work tomorrow, so wanted to get out and run a little harder today. Get up to the track. We'll take a look at this chassis here in a minute when we get back to the car. But I could tell with all that tape hanging off, it's not going to be pretty. We're going to have some deep gouges in that chassis from these rocks. You can just see how much wider the Outcast is, but how much taller the Xmaxx is. Both considered monster trucks. Low center of gravity chassis, high center of gravity chassis. I dig the Xmaxx height and the ground clearance it has. The Outcast is definitely capable. It's a capable platform, but you want to just come out and rip, not really worry about breaking anything, Xmaxx is still where it's at. Even Thunder RC, which I was shocked that he agreed that the Xmaxx is just a beast. I don't know if it's because he was promoting the GPM Xmaxx or the Xmaxx in general, but I did dig his video at the skate park of him just annihilating an Xmaxx. Way different handling characteristics for both of these two. What is that? Nothing to do with an RC car. You can hear the rattlesnake rattling away. Definitely a rattlesnake up in there who wasn't happy with me walking by. Pick your poison for me. Still, the Xmaxx performs better in my area and my style of driving than the Outcast. Outcast for me, like I said, is a heavy number 2. That's why it's a number 2. Let's take a look at this chassis. Let me put these remotes up here. It's just so heavy. Look at that. Look at all the gouges. Now the tape really saved this RC. Will save the chassis from all the gouges, but this stuff is going to be a nightmare to get off because it's just going to want to shred now because of all these impacts. There we go. Wow. You can still see all the gouges here. The back just got hammered. The front got hammered. Even these pockets here got hammered with rocks. So the nice thing about a new chassis is you can see where all the damage is coming from. Xmaxx chassis, 8 months old. Because I bought it at the beginning of the year. You tell me. Which chassis looks better to you? Center of this one, the low profile chassis, really took a beating. High center of gravity, doesn't even have rock marks on it. The front has taken a beating here. Control arms have taken a beating. Same thing with the rear. This one, you can see the nose, how much of a beating on the old chassis. Arms did really well, but the chassis has taken all the abuse before the control arms are. Compared to the Xmaxx, control arms are pretty much the lowest point. But there we go. Interesting to see. This chassis, or this body, that's how easy it is. Body back on, lock down. This one, you got to pull all the tethers. Body's got a big hole in it now, brand new body. One bash session. Fans are doing really well. Get these batteries unplugged. And I'm not going to tether them back up. But there we go. Get out there, rip some RC. That's all I can say, you know. No matter what your choice is, Outcast, Xmaxx, just get out, have fun. 4S, 3S, 2S, whatever you want to run. Just get out, have some fun. But there we go. That's going to end today's video. For me, I'm going to say it right now. Xmaxx still my number one. Outcast still my number two. Damage for damage, Xmaxx is going to save you money long run. That Outcast is going to break the bank if you run it like you run an Xmaxx. But there we go. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll catch you guys in my next video. Thanks for watching.